This nibble originally aired on RSBANDB Update, episode 824. Pet Peeves. Enjoy. Now, the next part of this live stream was the interesting part. And, people always love asking about graphical reworks. And the question associated, or the answer associated with this is that, no, there's no current graphical reworks in progress. If we did do a graphical rework, though, it would be tied to a piece of content where that could be shown off. And Mod Warden in particular highlighted the starting areas of Lumbridge and Burthorpe as areas that would be good. He also wants to talk with Mod Iro and talk with him about what some of the sore spots would be, and maybe have him on a live stream to discuss the world in that manner. But he's also eager to hear what the players have to say in terms of graphical rework.
I feel they're taking the wrong tack here. Because Lumbridge looks fine. Burthorpe looks great. So they've been shuffling that about, as well as the actual graphics of it being relatively recent still. I think there is a push to have everything up to the current standard, the current
like
house
the Dave
style.
and Dale kind of standard.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But all the same, for the sake of... I feel you've got to reach a point where you're okay with some things being fine for the sake of some things not looking terrible.
Right.
Rather than having some things look amazing and having some things look terrible. For example, have you seen Varrock? When did that last get updated?
That was after RuneScape HD, 2009.
Yeah. So, over a decade.
And same thing with Ardoyan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Karamja,
in particular. Yeah.
Karamja hasn't been updated since RuneScape 2.
Yeah. But Varrock in particular, I'd like to point out as one of the main areas in the game, especially on the free worlds. And it is one of the main areas that the new players will be going to. And yeah, I think that's a sore spot in need of attention. And there's so much on there that it'd be quite easy to link up some lore to put in with it. Hell, it's close to the Arc Guild.
Yeah. And, I'd also just like to say to everybody out there who is a veteran, is that if you're asking for an area to get graphically updated, if you want Varrock graphically updated, for example, be prepared for the entire city to be knocked down and rebuilt with different buildings, and only really the buildings that are important to quests and whatnot would remain in place. So that would mean that your two banks would remain in place, the castle would remain in place, the pub would remain in place, and the museum would remain in place. And everything else would be fair game for moving around or
most likely
tweaking.
Your panties would not stay in place because those would be in a bunch.
Oh, dear.
And true that. Now, obviously, I think the whole thing about Mod Warden talking about Burthorpe and Lumbridge is those are the two, entry points right after you get out of your tutorials and whatnot. And I have mixed feelings about Lumbridge in particular because I like the fact that Lumbridge kind of feels like it did when I started. I mean, yes, obviously it's been through a God War and just some other things. It's not exactly as it once was, but still pretty close. And there's just something about that I don't mind much. I feel like Lumbridge was supposed to be the backwater kind of, kingdom.
The homey, smallish town.
Yeah, the hamlet in the shadow of Varrock and stuff. So, I don't know. I'm conflicted when it comes to
if you look at the graphical quality of those areas, Lumbridge and Burthorpe, and you compare it to everything else in game, those two are already pretty good, I think. I think what you instead need to do is you need to look, like you said, questscaping at maybe Varrock, or if you're looking at doing something a little bit more expansive, maybe Ardoyan, but I don't know what kind of content you would tie with that. Personally, though, I think the thing that needs the biggest attention is Karamja, because honestly, outside of a couple of quests and the odd clue scroll, there's really no reason to go there.
Yeah, Karamja is just so neglected. did.
And there's an opportunity right now, with the whole Elder God War stuff going on, right?
You've got the Tsar there. You've got Full right there.
Yes, exactly. So, I mean, there is an opportunity. Now that being said, Elder God Wars is happening this year, and I think a rework for Karamja would not. I mean, that's probably
and from some perspectives
project,
on that,
right? Like at least
I feel you'd have a better result if you did Karamja and you used that as a way to kind of kick into that return to traditional storytelling that we've known. Because they did say they kind of ramped things down a bit after the Elder God Wars.
Oh,
series.
you mean like smaller stories?
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah, ramp things down a bit.
You know, I would like to see, now that we've had all these big, huge storylines, I wouldn't mind seeing some more kind of going back to regional storylines.
Right,
and
you
could start doing this graphical reworks because you're going to be working on content in this area.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
who even knows what's going on lore-wise with the actual people of Karamja? Let's go talk to them, have a bit of a quest for them.
Yeah, so
find out.
So that's why I think that's a perfect option to go with. You know, it might not be the one that gets the most bang for the buck. That's probably Varrock based on this, unless the engagement surveys say something else about Lumbridge and Burthorpe. Then maybe that's the way to go on it.
Yeah.
So there's multiple ways to go. It just depends on where you want to get your data.
Well, and I mean, I think you're right about the need for Varrock, but I think people, I don't even think people that would be like against it. I think they'd be against it once it happened, because it would be too much change. But Karamja, that's down there. You kind of sneak that in, right? Like, if you make it good, you make people want to go there. If you don't, well, nothing ventured, nothing gained, right?
Yeah.
I think outside the most rabid clue scrollers, there's no one who really has that much familiarity with it from going there on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm. So you could get away with doing a lot more, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It could become the central place for the new woodcutting rework.
Well, they've got the Airborne Idol there.
There's precedent for that, right? The
Exactly.
Mahoganies, Lord knows I spent my time down there with the special logs.
It's an exclusive area. That's like the prototype for the Menethos VIP.
Yep.
Oh, the old trading sticks. Fun.
Perfect. So there's some ideas on that, and I think there's three very good choices and directions about which way you could go. You can find full episodes of RSBANDB Update right here on this YouTube channel. If you found this video useful or just enjoyed it, like and subscribe, or leave a comment.